Book Moments, Chapter 5, The Happy Prince. Happy Prince is written by Oscar Wilde, a very famous playwright of Ireland. He was not only a playwright but also a great novelist, essayist, and poet. This chapter, The Happy Prince, is a very beautiful lesson, giving us a great message that outward beauty is nothing. It is just a pretension, it is just a show. The real beauties of a person lies hidden, and they are love and sacrifices. It is said that God is very happy with the human beings who help the needy. Therefore, we can see that in serving the needy, we are serving God. The real happiness is in sacrifice. The happy prince, the main character of the story, gave his everything to give comfort, happiness to the poor people. And the true joy and happiness lie in helping the needy. So we must keep others' happiness very important and help them in every possible way. Now we'll go through the chapter. The happy prince was a beautiful statue. He was covered with gold, he had sapphires for eyes and a ruby in his sword. Sapphire नीलम होता है बेटा, बड़ा precious stone, and ruby is again a precious stone. This was gilded in his sword, talwar. Why did he want to part with all the gold that he had and his precious stones? We'll go through the chapter. High above the city, on a tall column, stood the statue of the happy prince. Now, high above the city, on a tall column, that is a pillar, stood the statue of the happy prince. He was gilded all over with thin leaves of fine gold. He was gilded means he was covered all over with thin leaves of fine gold. For eyes, he had two bright sapphires. Eyes में उनके था sapphire नीलम, and a large ruby glowed means shone on his sword hilt. Sword hilt means handle. ने उनके बड़ा कीमती पत्थर रूबी था. See this picture. This is the case. He is standing on the pillar. One night there flew over the city a little swallow, a bird. His friends had gone away to Egypt 6 weeks before, but he had stayed behind. Then he decided to go to Egypt too. All day long he flew, and at night time he arrived at the city. Where shall I put up? He said. I hope the town has made preparations. Now the swallow asked himself only, where shall I put up means where shall I stay for night? And the whole town has made the preparations. Then he saw the statue on the tall column. He saw the statue of the happy prince. I will put up there. So he cried. He said that he will live up there for the night. It is a fine position with plenty of fresh air because it was very high. So he alighted just between the feet of the happy prince. Alighted means landed. तो वो swallow वहाँ जाके दोनों feet के बराबर में बैठ जाती है. I have a golden bedroom, he said softly to himself as he looked round, and he prepared to go to sleep. और जैसे ही हैप्पी प्रिंस swallow सोने के लिए जाता है तो वो एकदम से कहता है कि I have got a golden bedroom. But just as he was putting his head under his wing, a large drop of water fell on him. Just when he was about to sleep, put his head on under his wings, a drop of water fell. What a curious thing! What a strange thing, he cried. There is not a single cloud in the sky. The stars are quite bright and clear, and yet it is raining. So he says it is very strange, very curious. Okay, there was no cloud, the stars were very clear and bright, yet the rainfall. Then another drop fell. What is the use of a statue if it cannot keep the rain off? He said. उसने कहा कि फिर स्टैचू का फ़ायदा ही क्या है अगर वो रेन को नहीं हटा सकती. I must look for a good chimney pot, and he determined to fly away. Determined means he made a will कि यहाँ से मुझे उड़ जाना चाहिए. He should go to some chimney. But before he had opened his wings, a third drop fell, and he looked up and saw, what did he see? The eyes of the happy prince were filled with tears, and tears were running down his golden cheeks. His face was so beautiful in the moonlight, and the little swallow was filled with pity. And at once, when he saw that the happy prince was crying, and he felt with pity. Pity means sympathy. So he was filled with pity, compassion. Pity means compassion, there. Who are you? He said. I am the happy prince. Why are you weeping then? Asked the swallow. You have quite drenched me. Drenched me means made me wet. उसने कहा तुमने तो मुझे भिगा दिया है. Why are you weeping? When I was alive and had a human heart, answered the statue, I did not know what tears were, for I lived in the palace. Now the happy prince started telling his story. He said that when he was alive, he had a human heart. He was living in the palace, he was very rich. He did not know what the tears were, where sorrow is not allowed to enter. Naturally, in his palace, sorrow, dukh को allow ही नहीं था enter होना. My courtiers called me the happy prince, and happy indeed I was. So he says his courtiers. Courtiers are members of the court. उसके जो दरबार में लोग थे वो कहते थे कि he was very happy, and naturally he was happy. So I lived and so I died. And now that I am dead, they have set me up here so high that I can see the ugliness and all the misery of my city. And then he said कि अब जब वो कॉलम पे खड़े हैं वहाँ पर, he can see the whole city. And now he can see all the ugliness. जितना भी हिडियसनेस है, जितनी भी अगलीनेस मीन्स गंदा है या मिजरी है, मिजरी मीन्स अनहैप्पीनेस है, उसको सब दिखाई देती है. एंड दो माई हार्ट इज मेड ऑफ लेड येट आई कैन नॉट चूज बट वीप. एंड ही सेज नाउ बिकॉज हिज हार्ट इज मेड ऑफ लेड, मेटल का है क्योंकि वो स्टैचू है, वो कह रहे हैं कि अब भी मैं रो रहा हूँ. What? Is he not solid gold? Said the swallow to himself. He was too polite to make any personal remarks. And he was so polite, he did not try to ask he said that you are not a solid gold. Far away, continued the statue in a low musical voice. Far away in a little street, there is a poor house. One of the windows is open, and through it I can see a woman seated at a table. Her face is thin and worn. Worn means exhausted, tired. And she has coarse red hands, and she has rough, उसके हाथ जो हैं बड़े रफ हो चुके हैं, रेड हो चुके हैं. All pricked by the needle. They have become pricked, they have become rough. And pricked means marked with small holes. उसमें छोटे छोटे holes पड़ गए हैं by the needle. For she is seamstress. He says that she is a seamstress means a lady tailor. She is embroidering flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of the queens maid of honor. And then he says that she is making embroidering the flowers, making the flowers on the satin gown of the queens maid of honor. Okay. To wear at the next court ball. To wear at the court ball. Ball means dance. In a bed in the corner of the room, her little boy, is lying ill. He has a fever and is asking his mother to give him oranges. His mother has nothing to give him but river water, so he is crying. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you not bring her the ruby out of my sword hilt? Then the happy prince says he requests the swallow to take out the ruby from his sword hilt handle. My feet are fastened to this pedestal and I cannot move. And then he tells his pity that his feet are fastened. His feet are tied there on the base of the statue, the pedestal that dais that statue over there, base of the statue, and he cannot move. So he tells him to do some work for him. So this is all in my first video. Thank you.